Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon and I'm back again with another movie review. At long last, I finally got a chance to see Hidden Figures, which I wanted to see in the cinema, but I never had the chance to just because life gets in the way of other plans. And yeah, I've been busy. Last year I wasn't so busy, but it seems like this year I have been unbelievably busy just because I'm going through school and going through part two, the whole process. Part one was economics, part two was accounting. And as we go down the line, we learn other aspects of the business spectrum. It's just basically a preliminary of what we'll have to know once we go into the business realm itself, which is all very useful because I didn't know any of this stuff. And I get to see it every day just from an employee perspective, and I see it from the viewpoint of the company perspective too, which makes it all the more intriguing. But nonetheless, I'm just getting distracted and detracted and derailed, and I digress. The movie, it takes place in the late 50s when segregation was still running rampant, and this is happening in North Carolina. So we know that actually the South was more progressive. Well, the North, there were some states in the North that were progressive as well, but the South was definitely more progressive when it came to improving race relation. And race relations really didn't improve until the late 70s with Malcolm X, but we all know that if we've read our history books. But anywho, it's a really sensational film, and we get to see John Glenn and his launch into space, and part of me still wants to be an astronaut like I did when I was a little kid. That was what I always wanted to be, but I could never do the math. The math is way too complex for my brain to comprehend, but I still think that math in and of itself is elegant and beautiful and artistic in its way, and God is in the integers, as Steve Hawking once said, and I believe that. What else can I say about the movie? Oh yeah, Kevin Costner is in it, and he plays a very hard-nosed, exacting CEO of NASA. And even though he's pigeonholed for the role, he plays it in such a dynamic, compelling, believable way that at first you utterly loathe and abhor him, but later on he becomes a more sympathetic character, and he starts to become more open to the idea of having these black women working for him, and it's just, I love it. It's fantastic because I am a person who has friends of all races, backgrounds, colors, and creeds, and I think that we're all human, and we are all expressions of the one who made us. But there's another actor in this film I really like, and that's Jim Parsons, and he plays a role that he gets pigeonholed as a very smart, brilliant character, but extremely myopic, and it's intriguing to see him in a role like that because you do not have any sympathy at all for his character. He's just flat out prejudicial. 5 stars, hands down, 2 thumbs way up. It's outstanding. I don't know if the movie got an Oscar or not. If it didn't, it should have, but I'm not certain if it did. I don't recall, but it's a solid film. It's a good documentary. If you like that kind of film, if you're into history like me, then I would highly recommend it. If you like Kevin Costner or Jim Parsons, also I would recommend it, even if you're not into history. It's just a great film that's inspired by true events. It's very inspirational, and it just shows you that there is, in the course of history, well, just in general in society, there is man's inhumanity to man, but however, man can also be very innovative and expanding and brilliant in his way, and actually this shows that quite a bit through the lens of young African American women, and I think it's empowering. And I really don't have that much else to say about this, but as far as updates go, I've got illustrations I'm working on. I penned chapter 3 of Genre Jumper. I'm going to be penning more. I've got a character much like Pega in Dog Days, and it's actually my hero's dog, who happens to be a shapeshifter from Aeronox. He comes from a planet called Aeronox, because there are quite a few things that are happening in this particular tale, and I wanted to inject a little bit of sci-fi fantasy into it, just because sci-fi and fantasy together are my genres that I really feel very comfortable with and I can play with so effortlessly. Having a new computer is great. I'm hoping I can do some animation, but I got new projects with all my writing. Of course, I just finished writing Rando, which was actually penned in my diary, and it was probably one of the shortest scripts I've ever written. I've written 10-page scripts usually most of the time. They're just short scripts. They could probably be more like a skit than a script. My longest script was about probably 15 pages. If I wanted to do a true script, it would be really big. But I'm not sure how I would do that. It would take me forever to do. But I'm good at the short term. I'm good at short stories. And the scripts are similar to what I usually write, which in the case of Genre Jumper, I do about 5-page stories. And they're all going to add up to a big book once I finish it. But that's pretty much all I got to say as to what I'm doing at the present.